We have even bigger issues here in the United States. According to reports, migrants from other countries are now starting to become an even bigger threat to the United States because we are starting to see some that have terrorist ties. We also have some that are planning terrorist events. This is a huge concern. But I will break all this down in just a moment. I'm also going to discuss what President Biden has done to make it a little bit harder to get into the United States. However, some Border Patrol officials are now saying that they are being instructed to let people go because they don't want them to go into asylum screening because they could be declined. Again, huge issues there. And then we're going to talk about how some cities are actually running out of money, and we could see a mass homelessness event happen very soon. So I'm going to break all that down, what's going on, what the Biden administration is doing, and what you should expect in your city very soon. But before I get to that, all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So first, I want to start off with the most serious threat, and that is potential terrorists entering into the United States. Just look at this. It says a migrant caught at the border admitted terrorist plans to make a bomb in the United States. It says Basil Basal Abadi said he intended to travel to New York. This was just published the other day, but the issue is this is like a 10-day-old event. I want to read you a little bit from this article really quick, kind of explain what is going on. Look at this. It says, Basal, a 22-year-old Lebanese migrant, was caught sneaking across the border near El Paso, Texas last week, telling agents who questioned him that his ultimate destination was New York and that he intended to try to make a bomb. Once safely at his destination, according to the New York Post. Goes on to say further interviews of Abadi revealed that he had trained with Hezbollah for 7 years and also served as an active member tasked with guarding weapons for another 4 years, according to the report. His training with the group was focused on jihad and taking people's lives that were not Muslim. That is what he told investigators. Now, obviously, they sent him to the terrorist task force, and they will deal with him there. However, the concern here is that this is nothing new. We are seeing, many people enter the United States that have potential terrorist ties. Just to give you an idea, okay, I want to read this to you right here. It says in 2022, there were 98 people that were apprehended, okay? In 2023, we saw 172. So far in 4 months, in 2024, we have seen 59 individuals, pretty much being encountered at the U.S. southern border. That is not a huge number, but what experts say is all it takes is one. It takes one person entering into the United States because there's already terrorists here. It takes one person entering into the United States that could potentially, create a spark for the group that is here, and then we could see mass destruction. Which is why it brings me to this next point. President Biden has become tougher on asylum screening. We know this. But there's an issue here, and I want to read you a little bit from this article. This is from the Washington Post. Okay? Listen to this. It says the officers are completing twice as many interviews per month as they did a year ago, and under tighter rules. The percentage of migrants who are rejected and referred to deportation has more than doubled. This is according to the latest Department of Homeland Security data. Here's the big news. Number one, they're completing twice as many interviews per month. That's good. So people are not waiting. The other thing is there are tighter rules. It says, but the number of people screened remains a small fraction of the number who cross the border illegally. And the government does not have the detention capacity to hold others long enough to interview them. This is also part of the issue. Yes, there's stricter asylum rules. Right? And they're very tight rules, but they're not extremely tight, but they're tighter rules. The issue is some Border Patrol agents have reported that they were instructed to let people go. Don't apprehend all these people because we cannot keep them. So you're pretty much just wasting your time. Just let them walk. The other thing is, people that are waiting too long, they don't even get to interview them. They don't interview them, so they just let them walk into the United States and tell them to come back for the interview. This is the issue. We do not know, we don't have an exact number, how many people are coming back. That's what we don't know. So even though the Biden administration says we are screening all these people, they're not. Even though they say they're more strict policies, yes, they may be more strict, but if you allow more people to just walk and never go through the process, it doesn't matter. I want to show you this as well, though. Texas has a plan. Texas plan, they want to arrest migrants for illegal entry. But the Supreme Court said no. They cannot do this yet. So they're waiting on the Supreme Court. But here's what I want to show you. Who can actually be arrested? It says, the law Abbott signed in December allows any Texas law enforcement officer to arrest people suspected of entering the country illegally. Keep in mind, suspected is very, it's not the most accurate word here. It says, once in custody, migrants could either agree to a Texas judge's order to leave the U.S. or be prosecuted on misdemeanor charges of illegal entry. Migrants who don't leave could face arrest again under more serious felony charges. It says arresting officers must have probable cause, which could include witnessing the illegal entry themselves or seeing it on video. It says the law cannot be enforced against people lawfully present in the United States, including those who were granted asylum or who are enrolled in the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, the DACA program. So there are some restrictions there, but until this can pretty much be approved by the Supreme Court, it's really in question at this time. Now, here's where things get very, very interesting. It has to do with New York City, and this is why some cities are bracing for a mass homelessness event. Because of this, it says Mayor Adams, this is Mayor Eric Adams from New York, Mayor Adams' right to shelter agreement will actually make New York City's migrant crisis worse. Well, the right to shelter allows people 30 days to shelter, to find a place to stay. I want to read you this, okay? Because it's not as good as some people think, but it's also worse than others think. Listen to this. It says Adams claims the agreement with the Legal Aid Society and the Coalition for the Homeless will allow the city to evict adult migrants from city-run shelters after 30 days, saving taxpayers money and limiting the need for more shelters. Here's the issue. They've been touting this for a few days. This is something they say is going to absolutely work. Well, according to reports, it says it's not true. Because if you read the fine print, it says migrants have a shot at staying longer if they obtain a driver's license, which means you have to prove who you are. They follow shelter rules, show more good behavior, and get this one, apply for public benefits. So that's crazy right there. That a driver's license, they just follow the shelter rules, they show good behavior, and they apply for public benefits. That gets them more access. That gets them more time in the shelter. But I want to read you something else. Look at this. It says the agreement also applies to adults, the agreement also applies only to single adults aged 24 and up. It says a staggering 78% come with children and get priority placement in hotels. The city spends a whopping $387 per migrant. Okay, this is a night for food and the roof alone. That's the crazy part. Okay, they're spending $387 per night per migrant. This is a massive issue when they're trying to bring in more than 65,000 people. Huge, huge problem. But again, this is why some cities are going to face this mass homelessness event, because they don't have any other option. There's nowhere else for the people to go. And some hotels are complaining that they are not getting paid. So why would they continue to open their doors for migrants just because the city says they need the help, when in the end, they're not getting any help themselves? This is also why the city of Denver, they're going to be closing 4 migrant shelters in order to reduce their budget. We knew that was coming. And Arizona County, okay, It says Arizona County faces a homelessness on steroids as migrant shelter funds run out. This is what we are facing all over the United States. But the crazy part is we're only getting the reports from New York, from Boston, from Chicago, and Denver. We heard from San Diego earlier on in this year, but that's the issue, is all the other cities, these sanctuary cities, these sanctuary states, we're not hearing many reports from them. That's where experts say is the concern, is we are only hearing from a few, but every city is facing this crisis. So we'll see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you is I will be here every step of the way. I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. That is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the next one.